Hello and welcome to our unit on oceans. Today we're going to do our first day of notes on the oceans. Okay, so our unit today is oceanography. We're going to learn a little bit about seafloor topography. So our topic is seafloor topography. Objectives. Okay, our first day, you'll know seafloor features of what we call the continental margin. And you will know the seafloor features of the deep ocean basin. Here we go. So for your quick write, go ahead and pause this while you do your quick write. So why do you think many people live near the ocean? Okay, if you were to walk along the bottom of the ocean, what sort of features do you think you would encounter? Okay, so go ahead and do your quick write for a few easy points here. Here we go. Water planet. 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered in water. Okay, no other planet in our solar system is covered with so much water. Earth is truly a water planet. It makes us, okay, truly unique in our solar system, and for that matter, possibly in the universe. So, Earth is a water planet. Okay, why study the oceans? Well, the oceans give us food. Okay, the oceans create our weather and greatly influence global climates. 44% of the world's population lives near the ocean. Okay, and then 50% of the world's oxygen. So take a deep breath, because half of that oxygen you're getting came from the world's oceans, phytoplankton, okay, that give off oxygen through photosynthesis. And then finally, many resources such as food and energy come from the ocean. Okay, so the oceans are very important to us. People who study the ocean are called oceanographers. Oceanography, okay, is the study of the physical, chemical, and biological aspects of the ocean. If you ever go to college, I highly recommend an oceanography class. It's really cool. All right, so these include the seafloor features, such as deep sea trenches, life forms, okay, that dominate the ocean here. All right, so more is known about the surface of the moon than the surface of the deep ocean. Oceanographers first started mapping the ocean bottom in the 1950s. Why? Well, we needed to provide maps of the ocean bottom so our submarines could spy on other countries. Okay, it was thought that the ocean floor was once flat. Okay, there was just these like marine deserts, just flatness out there. But after mapping it, it was revealed that the ocean bottom was actually far more complex than previously thought, with all these crazy features at the bottom. Okay, well, let's look at some of these. So how did we map the ocean bottom? Okay, what we used was something called sonar. Okay, and in the 1950s, a new technology called sonar was developed. Sonar uses the sound waves that bounce off the ocean bottom. So we'd sound these sound waves, okay, and they'd bounce off the ocean bottom and bounce back. It's a system that uses sound acoustic signals and reflected echoes, okay, to map the ocean bottom. If you've ever seen those old submarine movies, you hear that in the background, it's going ping, ping. Well, that is sonar. That's sound, okay, using to tell them how deep they are. So scientists measure the time it takes for the sound waves to strike the bottom and bounce back. So if this ship, let's say, has sonar on it, sends a wave down to the bottom, and it bounces back, okay, and we measure the time it takes. That tells us it's deep. That tells us how deep it is. And then let's say we go over something not as deep, okay, and then we send out sonar here, and it hits the bottom, bounces back, and boom, it's a shorter time it takes to bounce back. So that tells us it's more shallow here. Okay, so for your notes, what is sonar? How do we map the ocean bottom there? So question on the left-hand side, answer on the right-hand side. As always, use the answer bank to determine which words best complete the sentence. All right, go ahead and pause this. I'm going to move on here while you write. Okay, so features of the ocean floor. The ocean is divided into two major areas. We have the continental margins, okay? The continental margin is the submerged edge of a continent, okay? So yeah, that's right, continents are partially underwater. And that part that's underwater, we call it the continental margin. And then, once we leave the continent, we have what's known as the deep ocean basins. These are the deeper parts of the ocean that lie over oceanic crust here. Okay, so continental margins, deep ocean basins. Let's look at these more in depth. Let's look at the continental margin. Okay, the continental margin is made up of the submerged edge of continents. Okay, it is composed of two features: the shelf. Okay, it is composed of the continental shelf here. Okay, it's the flat zone of shallow water near the edge of a continent. And then we hit what's called the continental edge, and we get the continental slope. Okay, and the continental slope, okay, is the edge of a continent that drops off into deep water. Don't worry about the submarine canyon here, okay? We'll save that if you ever go to college. But we have the continental shelf and the continental slope. Kind of like it drops off into deep water, the continental slope, okay? And it's called the slope because, okay, it drops off into deep water, and it's a steeper part. It's the steep part of a continent, okay? All right, so those are the two parts. So let's look at America here. We have the continental shelf right here, right? And then notice it drops off into deep water. We have the continental slope, okay? So what are features of the continental margin? Question on the left-hand side, answers on the right-hand side. Please draw the table and draw this wonderful picture down below. It's a simple picture, okay? And then use the answer bank, as always, to determine which word best completes the blanks here. Go ahead and pause this. I'm going to move on. All right, deep ocean basins. All right, so we've left the continents. We're now in the really, really deep parts of the ocean. And these deep ocean basins have distinct features, okay? Like I said, it was thought it was just flat out there. Nothing was out there, but now we know that not to be true, thanks to sonar. So these features include broad abyssal plains, submerged volcanoes called seamounts, mountain ranges, and deep sea trenches. Let's look at these features. Okay, so the deep ocean basins, we have the abyssal plains. There are flat areas of the ocean, and we call these flat areas, these extensive flat areas that cover large parts of the ocean bottom, the deep ocean, okay, the abyssal plains. So it's just these broad flat areas, right? Guyots, okay, that was once an island. Why is it flat? Well, waves have eroded the island over time and just flattened it off. Okay, so it was once an island that just became flattened off by wave erosion over thousands and millions of years. Okay, so it's seamounts, submerged volcanic mountains here. Okay, these are volcanoes essentially underwater. And we do get volcanoes underwater. Most people don't realize that. So, and then deep sea trenches. Okay, coming back to plate tectonics here. Long, steep depression right here. This long, steep depression that forms as a result of tectonic plate subduction. Remember, plate tectonics here. Plate subduction occurs at deep sea trenches. And then, another feature due to plate tectonics is the mid-ocean ridge. Okay, an underwater volcanic mountain chain where two plates pull apart, creating a volcanic spreading center, a volcanic ridge down the middle of many of the world's oceans. Okay, these mid-ocean ridges. Okay, so there you have it. The deep ocean is alive and active with a lot of geologic features. Okay, so let's look at Alaska here. Where's the deep sea trench? Can you guys see it? Okay. Well, there's the trench, plate subduction. Okay. And the Aleutian Islands are volcanoes, right? And, okay, look at South America here. Where's the trench? That's right. Right there. Okay. And if you look carefully, we can see a mid-ocean ridge is over here and some other features. Okay, let's look at this. This is interesting. Let's imagine we just took away the ocean. We drained the ocean bottom. Well, here's what it would look like. We have North America over here, continental margins, right? Continental shelf and slope. Then we have these seamounts all over here. Then we have this mid-ocean ridge, this huge underwater volcanic mountain chain here that goes down the middle of the ocean. Okay, then we have, like I said, seamounts over here. Okay, with the mid-ocean ridge. We got seamounts, and those are some islands too. Okay, so on your notes, okay, see if you can answer questions 1 through 6. 1 would be, for example, A through G, okay, or F. 2 would be A through F, okay? So try to answer them. Quiz yourself. Go ahead and pause this because this diagram is on the test, okay? So try to see if you know what each feature is here. All right, go ahead and pause this. I'm going to move on. All right, so the last one for today is what are features of the deep ocean basins, okay? Draw this table, please. And as always, use the answer bank to determine which words best complete the sentence there. Okay, if you have more than 6 words, that's okay. As long as you got 6 in your answer bank, you get complete credit there. So, go ahead and pause this. I'm going to move on. All right, so summarize. What I would like you to do is, this is a cross section, okay? You took a slice through Earth from, let's say, the East Coast to Europe or Africa, okay? That's a cross section of the oceans, okay? Draw and label this with the following features, okay? You can always just write your own summary, okay, for 20 points, or you can always do mine, okay? But you have to do it correctly in order to get the 20 points. So go ahead and pause this, and we'll see you next time for day 2.